Durham, please welcome the Director of Athletics at Chapel Hill, Bubba Cunningham, and the Executive Director of the Rams Club / Educational Foundation, a guy who has been sworn to secrecy on the years we've known each other, is John Montgomery. So we're not going to get into any in-depth stories about me and Montgomery on here, no matter what you try and do, Packer. And Bubba Cunningham has stepped out of a very important meeting to join us here today, Pack. So, Bubba, John, first of all, thank you all for being here. And thank you, Bubba, in particular, for this unbelievable honor for my dad. It's unreal. It becomes more unreal every day, it seems. So thank you again.
Well, Wes, congratulations to you and to your family. Your mom, Jean, is absolutely spectacular. You know, when I first came to Carolina, I was so lucky to get to Carolina. Your mom and dad invited me over to the house for dinner, and my family wasn't here. And the stories about Carolina, the stories about the ACC, the warmth and the love that they showed me is irreplaceable. And I can only imagine what it was like growing up with your mom and dad and your brother, and the influence they had on you, and the influence they've had on Carolina. And we talk about the experiences we try to create for student athletes and all of our students at the university. Think about the times they were in college. But what your dad was able to do for so many is creating memories for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. So to have the opportunity to honor your dad and your family is something special, not just for you, quite frankly, it's for the Carolina community, because he was and always will be the story of our history and the way he related to so many people. So congratulations to you, and thank you for allowing us to do it.
Oh, sure. Unbelievable.
All right, let me cut to the chase. This is whichever one of you dignitaries want to answer this first, go for it. What took so long? I mean, come on.
John?
Well, I'll jump in there. And Wes, your secrets are safe with me, buddy.
Yeah.
Pac, Bubba and I have talked about this probably since the inception of this building. And you know what we say in philanthropy, when you have a meaningful opportunity, it needs to intersect with a great philanthropist. And so we wanted to make sure a great Tar Heel family was involved in this, in an expression of their love and admiration for a Tar Heel legend. And we connected that opportunity with the philanthropist. And so now we have something really special. And we're so excited. And congratulations, Wes, to you and Taylor and Jean.
Well, thanks, John. Bubba, the thing that struck me, and John, you can speak to this as well. You guys are in, and we've talked about where the landscape of college athletics is. But Bubba, you know this from a facility standpoint. The new media building there is a storytelling and presenting facility. There's a lot of work being done there to chronicle college athletics at the University of North Carolina, much like it is on every ACC campus right now. So it's a functional place. It's not just a place that's, got Dad's name on it, as I say.
It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, we have 3 production rooms in there, so we don't have to bring the trucks in as often as we used to. It has a talk back to Bristol, and it showcases what our student athletes are all about. It also allows us to work with our School of Journalism. We have a number of alums that work in the building, a number of students that work in the building. It is an incredible facility, and it does allow us to tell these stories. And to have your father's name on it is special for the university. So congrats. And Pac, the history that you demonstrate for the league as well with your dad, those are things that make this league special. And we really stand apart because of the history and tradition. And it's wonderful that we're able to honor the Durham family.
Well, you're right about that. And I think, too, the fact its location so close to the Smith Center, it just seems kind of natural that those two would be hand in hand.
It does. And you walk by it and you smile. We have speakers outside. So as the people are coming into the arena, we have music playing, or we have the audio playing, and the post game, there's graphics up on the outdoor. It just makes for a great experience as people are walking in. So it's wonderful that we've been able to do it.
John, I want to ask you something that I was asked about the other day in preparation for the announcement yesterday, is that the Rams Club events and the connections that not only your coaches make on these visits, and was much more prominent before the pandemic than it is now, obviously, but the ability to do the Tar Heel tour and the Rams Club events and things like that. And those were events that I know they were important to Dad because he talked about them and he did a lot of them. What do they ultimately mean in the connection with Carolina people from your end?
Well, Wes, I have to say, so I started 21 years ago. And I think that spring we did 35 events. And I'm sure Woody did 31 out of 35. And, you know, when we would do the first event, we'd probably kick it off in a signature city. And it was, you know, we had all the momentum, we had all the coaches. But if we kicked it off in Greensboro, it was unbelievable because Woody owned Greensboro, and he should have from the WFMY days. But he owned Greensboro. He kicked it off with such enthusiasm, and you know that enthusiasm never waned. It would be like from number 1 to 31, he loved every event, and he knew people in every town and city. You know, and he was the connection to when we would go on the road, and we would take, you know, obviously great coaches with us, but in many places, you know, it was about Woody because you're a great MC, Jones does a great job, but Woody was the best. And it just meant so much to connect our fans and our donors with our coaches and with our administration every spring. And it still does.
Yeah.
Bubba, you're up in Indianapolis, not to switch gears, but we do have to talk a little business while you're here. What can you tell us from the basketball front? I mean, North Carolina's got a big game coming up. Obviously, the road trip to Virginia Tech this weekend is a humongous, quote-unquote, bubble-licious game that people are putting under that category. Your women been in the top 25 doing their thing. You just won another tennis championship. I mean, there's all kinds of good stuff going on.
Yeah, there is. I am up in Indy. We have the men's basketball committee, a joint committee with the women's committee today and tomorrow. So we're getting started this afternoon. So we do have a lot of great things going on. Congrats to our women's tennis team for the 3rd straight ITA championship. And it will be fun up here and interesting to get the perspective of the rest of the men's committee as well as working with the women's committee. But before we go on to that, I want John has a great story he was telling me about getting the job at Carolina and Woody's influence. So I want John to go through that. Because when I think about Woody, I think about his professionalism. I think about his preparation, and John personifies that.
Okay, Montgomery, here we go. Now make sure we keep the government out of this, okay?
Well, thank you, Bubba. And it just comes back to preparation, and that's what Woody was all about. You know, whether it was a game or one of those chapter meetings I just mentioned. But I will say I'll reflect just a little bit beyond before that time, Bubba. I remember when I first heard Woody. I was living in Pembroke, Virginia. I was in high school, and when the cloud cover was just right, and I got the rabbit ears in the right position, I could pick up WFMY. And I love sports. I was probably starved for a lot of ACC sports. And so I would tune into the 6 o'clock news at WFMY, and at 6:15, I would get the sports from Woody. So that's where I first heard Woody. I met him when Wes and I worked together at Radford. He came up and did an event for us. But then when I got the interview for this job, I called Wes and said, I think I need to talk to Woody. And Wes, I don't know if you remember this, but you said, okay, I'll talk to him. You called me back and said, Woody's going to call you at 8 o'clock. My advice to you is have a thick legal pad and a pen with a lot of ink. And so, you know, Woody called me, and he had wanted to know who was on the search committee. So I gave Wes the names. He gave them to Woody. Woody, I mean, I was so prepared for this interview. I knew someone's wife sang in the church choir. I knew another guy's dad loved fast cars. I knew we had the former chair of IBM, a great golfer, someone close with the basketball office. So I don't know if I was much of a fundraiser, but I was really prepared for that interview, and it was unbelievable. It just set me at ease, and I ended up getting really lucky and getting this opportunity, and a lot of that's because of my preparation. It was like I was going to call a game, and Woody just had me prep for it. So it was unbelievable.
Hey, go Pack.
That works.
Yeah.
So right behind us, we got Woody's last game.
Yeah, we put the chart back there, and it's like people are like, "What's that behind Packer?" And it's his football board, Bubba, from his last game in the Music City Bowl. And it's like their names everywhere. I've taken pictures of it and sent it to Bryn Renner and TJ Yates and those guys because they're on the board. I mean, that's just who he was. I mean, that was the essence of the whole deal. The essence of the whole deal.
Yeah, I owe Woody a lot. I mean, he had me prepped, and it was great.
Well, you guys are great. Bubba, thanks for stepping out of the critical men's and women's basketball meeting here today. Anything we need to know? How many teams on the board? You want to share anything with us from behind closed doors?
No, I don't. I'm still relatively new to this, so I'm not really sure what we have going on. But one last thing, though, Wes. When I went over to your parents' house, and I really want to thank your mom. I mean, what a special woman. And after dinner, your dad took me through the garage and showed me. I mean, you had your own museum in that garage. It was absolutely special. And he was walking me through the different pictures and the history of the ACC and the folks that he met. It was really special. And I love your mom. And she now is a pen pal with my mother on different books that they enjoy. So that relationship is really deep. Congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you.
Bubba, Wes, can I interrupt real quick?
Sure.
Love Gene, such a wonderful friend, but I just wanted to, Gene wrote me a beautiful note, and the last line in the note, I pulled this out last night, said, hopefully fans will see this as a tribute to them for being such loyal listeners. And I just think that says it all.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah. And that's the part that he would like, is that the connection to the people who dialed into the games, and the players and the coaches. I mean, you guys know the relationship. It's amazing, the relationship you have with the players. And I've heard more from former players and people connected to the program here recently than I ever imagined. And that means a lot, because that's how much they thought of Dad. So, all right, guys, see you tomorrow night. Thank you again. Very kind of you. Right. Appreciate y'all doing this.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yep, go where you go and do what you do. All right.